All right, so listen, if you want to get your agency to 10, 15, even upwards of $25,000 a month, you really only need two things. And by the way, I'm sorry I'm not dressed up today. It's been one of those days, very long day. I finished up my calls and honestly, this was on my mind. So I put together this presentation. Apologies, I look homeless. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You really only need two things. First, a niche, and second, a service that fits with that niche. And by the end of today's video, you would have learned the first, which is how to choose the right service to pair with your niche. Then we're going to talk about the 5 most in-demand services this year. And then I'm going to give you a list of services so that way you can use it to make your first dollars online. And then we're going to get into the 3 crucial frameworks for picking a service that fits your niche. And they are the 5-step customer to cash method, which is all about seamlessly guiding clients from awareness to repeat purchases. We're going to be talking about ROI versus convenience. So offers that save time and the ones that drive revenue. And then also the business environment analysis. So tailoring services to specific business needs by really assessing micro, market, and macro environments. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Now, with everything on this extended channel, this channel is more about like real, raw, old school content that I used to make, a lot more nitty gritty. And for all of these videos, I have my presentation notes to the side. I usually like to create flow charts and create some visuals to accompany the video and also really help me think through the process and the systems. So as I said, if I look off to the side, I'm looking at some of the frameworks that I created. And you can get access to all of those frameworks in the description. Everything that I mentioned in today's video, all the notes, templates, all that stuff will be in the description. So let's get into it. The thing that you really need to understand is the amount you charge for your services is directly related to how close your service is to the point of sale. And if that sounds a little confusing, here's what I mean by that. There are really 5 steps in a customer journey: awareness, interest, intent, sale, and then one that a lot of people forget about, repeat customer. So with some services, you're going to be working on the first stage, which is awareness. When you think of this, think of services like brand awareness campaigns, creating brand designs, or having your brand logo on a billboard. The objective of campaigns like this is simply create more brand awareness. Now, the problem is it's very hard to track the amount of sales such services generates because they're so far away from the actual point of sale. And as a result, you can't really charge that much. Now, on the other hand, let's take a service like lead generation through paid advertising. And let's analyze it, because does that service result in step 1, awareness, people being aware of your client's service or product? Yes. Does it cover step 2, which is interest? Basically a lead or a booked call or anything that shows the client is window shopping. Once again, yes. Does it show intent, which is a customer showing up to a call, taking a meeting, adding to cart, a checkout attempt or a deposit? Once again, yes. Does it lead to a sale? Basically a sale for your client. And yes. And then step 5, does it lead to a repeat customer? Yes and no. There's no guarantees that it does, but yeah, you could definitely have customers purchasing again from lead generation ads. Now, it's not as guaranteed as, let's say, something like email marketing for e-commerce businesses where you can target literally existing customers. And because you can target existing customers, that means that it's like true profit for the business. Because obviously the client earns roughly the same amount as the first time they purchased, but the cost is pretty much non-existent or very, very small, which means the client makes more money. So as a result, you can charge way more for that type of service because it's way closer to the point of sale. And you can also have a trackable ROI from that service. You can clearly see how much you're making for each dollar that you're investing into it. And most importantly, you know that the more you invest into that service, the more sales you get, which is really what matters the most at the end of the day. Hence why you see so many people out there providing Facebook ad services, because you can charge a lot to do that. Now listen, I'm not saying that you should do Facebook ads or paid traffic, because in a second, I'm gonna walk you through how to spot blue ocean markets and find services that no one is providing just a little later on in this video. But before I do that, what you really need to understand is whatever service you decide to move forward with, you really have to ask yourself, which one of the steps of the customer journey does that service sit on? Remember, the closer you get to steps 4 and 5, the more you can charge for your service because you are taking care of most of the customer journey for your client. Now, there's another very important concept you need to understand next. Because when choosing a service, you need to be aware that there are really 2 kinds of services. There's convenience and ROI, or return on investment, services. So how do you know if your service is convenience or ROI? Well, a convenience service is a service that saves your client time, whereas an ROI service is a service that makes your clients money. So if we look at the 5-step customer to cash method, we can see that lead generation through paid traffic helps your client to take care of every step in this method. So because this service helped your client make a sale, you've definitely helped them make enough sales to not only pay for your service, but they also made a profit while using your service. And that's why lead gen through paid traffic is an ROI service. Now, if we look at what step social media management helps your client get to, you'll notice it only gets as far as step 2, which is interest. In this case, it's a convenience offer because there's no trackable return on their investment. I'm not saying that there's no return on investment. It's just that it's very hard to track that return. All you're doing is helping the client save time by not having to manage their social media themselves. And as a result, the client will pay for your service without a direct monetary expectation or gain in return. Now let's take a closer look at a YouTube thumbnail agency. Now this is actually an offer where you can show that because you are doing X, you are making more money. Now you may not always be able to explain how much money you're making them, but you should be able to show them some key metrics. Because I did X, your click-through rate went from X to Y, and because of that, we can estimate that X amount more people actually click through to the video, which means that X more people watch the video, and from X amount of people, you can basically derive an amount of sales that they would have gotten because of it. And then you need to assess how close to the money do you get them with your ROI offer. Remember, the closer you can get your client to a sale with your service, the more you can charge your client. So framing your service as a return on investment service, in the case of a YouTube thumbnail agency, is more beneficial for both you and your client. Now, in the next framework, I'm going to show you the 3 types of environments that you get in business. And by understanding and knowing this, you're already 98% closer to signing your next client. This is really going to help you see the in-depth services that no one else can see. And this is what's going to be your competitive advantage. Why? Because you're going to be able to clearly define what service they need based on the problems that they have in their business. So let me show you how to use it after I explain each step. In business, there's 3 main environments that your business lives in. You have micro environment, you have market environment, and then you have macro environment. Now, the micro environment, this is like your immediate circle. It includes things close to the business like customers, suppliers, competitors, and employees. It's pretty much like the people that you interact with every day at school or in your neighborhood. And for a business, it's about understanding who they're selling to, who they're buying from, and who they're competing against, and who's working for them. Now, the market environment, think of this as the bigger group that your business operates in. It's like your school or your town, and it's all of the people and businesses that your business might interact with or compete against in a broader sense. And understanding the market environment means knowing what people want, how much they're willing to pay, and what other options that they have. And then you have macro environment. Now, this is like the wider world outside of your immediate surroundings. It includes things like government regulations, economic conditions, technology, and cultural trends. It's like the big stuff happening in the country or even globally that can affect businesses everywhere. For example, changes in laws or recession can impact how a business operates, even if it's not directly related to what the business does. So if you want to choose the best service, you need to consider these elements, and then you need to consider what the elements are that your niche specifically struggles with. Imagine you're starting a service to assist dropshipping businesses in finding reliable suppliers for quality items in China. By applying this framework, you can identify crucial factors and tailor your service to address specific pain points within the dropshipping niche. So let's look at microenvironment. Picture yourself as a dropshipper, setting up your business in your microenvironment, and in your microenvironment, you encounter customers, obviously dropshipping businesses seeking quality products to sell, suppliers, which is the cornerstone of your service, reliable suppliers offering fast shipping and high quality items. You have competitors, obviously other service providers offering a similar supplier finding service. And then you have employees or collaborators, which is your team dedicated to sourcing and vetting suppliers. So going to a real life example, just like running a lemonade stand, your success relies on sourcing the best lemons and sugar. Whereas in the dropshipping world, your microenvironment focuses on finding suppliers who consistently deliver top-notch products and fast shipping. Then you have market environment. Now zooming out, consider the broader dropshipping market. You have existing dropshipping services, so competitors offering similar services. You've got potential clients, so that's dropshipping businesses unaware of your service but in need of reliable suppliers. You've got price sensitivity, so really understanding what dropshippers are willing to pay for premium supplier finding services. You've got trends in product demand, so identifying popular niches and products among dropshippers. Now taking this back to a real life example, in the same way you would assess other lemonade stands in your neighborhood, analyzing existing supplier finding services, identify untapped markets, and anticipate product trends to tailor your service offering. Finally, we get to macro environment. Now you want to consider the broader economic, technological, and cultural factors influencing the dropshipping landscape. So obviously we have to talk government regulations, so trade policies impacting international shipping and commerce. Obviously big macro things we've got. For example, C-19 had a massive impact on international trade and commerce. You've got economic conditions, so just general economic trends affecting consumer spending habits and market stability. You've got technological advancements, so emerging technologies streamlining supplier discovery and communication. And you also have cultural shifts, changing consumer preferences towards sustainable and ethically sourced products. Now, to tie this back into a real life example, just as you'd be mindful of health regulations and economic conditions when running your lemonade stand, really consider how government policies, economic shifts, technological advancements, and cultural preferences shape the dropshipping ecosystem. Go ahead and adapt your service to navigate these macro level influences effectively. And this is really how you find those secret hidden services that most people never even think exist. And there's very few people doing these kinds of services. And just remember, running an online agency doesn't mean that you're just doing ads. Like everyone just assumes, oh, I'm going to do ads or content. There are thousands of different services that you can offer. Your entire agency could literally just be setting up Zapier automations and integrations for businesses. That could literally be your entire $1 million a year agency. And by understanding and leveraging these environmental factors, you can really develop a comprehensive service that addresses the specific needs and challenges. So how do you know if you've chosen the right service? Well, let's go back and look at the 3 frameworks I created that you should put any service through to know whether it's the right decision. As I said, as I'm looking to the side, remember I've left all of these resources down below. So you want to put your service into this framework I created and count the total money bags that your service scores when you actually use the framework. Then you want to look at ROI versus convenience. So does your service save your client time or make them a return on their investment? Preferably, your service helps your clients see a return on their investment because you help them closer to the sale using the customer to cash framework that I created. And then you want to look at business environment analysis. Next, you want to take your service through a deep dive against all of the challenges that the business faces in your niche and see where you find alignment. I want you to use the examples we've given you to go back and understand what problems are there to solve and what solutions are available for you to actually utilize when it comes to providing an offering. And remember that to really find the hidden gems and to find services that no one else offers, you should consider this framework the most. Now, if you're still stuck, I'm gonna give you some ideas. As promised, here are 5 services that are most in demand today. Now, as I'm speaking, I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the screen. Obviously, feel free to pause the video and just read through it. Now, the way that I came to this conclusion was based on the success of our students inside of Agency Accelerator, as well as Agency Accelerator Pro, which is the best program ever created in history. I don't care if it's even $20,000, $30,000 programs. This blows everything out of the water. If you are serious about starting your agency and scaling it up in record time, go look at the link in the description and I'd love to see you in the program. Anyways, getting back to the video. By this point, you would have learned how to choose the right service to pair with your niche. I just showed you on screen the 5 most in-demand services this year. And I've also given you 3 crucial frameworks for picking a service that fits your niche. And those frameworks were the 5-step customer to cash method, the ROI versus convenience offer framework, as well as the business environment analysis. Once again, check the link in the description and you'll get access to all those frameworks that I created before this video. Anyways, with all that being said, take what you have learned today and take action. That is the difference between you signing your first client or 10th client. You just need to start and follow the process. And as always, I'll be watching from afar and I'm rooting for you.